We are recording, right, Leah?
Yes, we are.
Here we go. Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday because it is Tech Tip and Innovate with Nate today. Um, so, my thinking on my topic today is this: there's a lot of confusion and misinformation out there about the real estate market, and it is a weird market. Homes are either selling fast and in multiples. Thank you, or they are sitting on the market a really long time. The average days on market is 60 days, but the general public doesn't know that. So I'm going to supply you because you are the one that gets to tell that story today with data things that you can share with your sellers because they all think it's 2001 and their neighbor's house sold for 50 grand in 35 offers and no inspections and everything else. Well, that movie's old and you have to tell the new story. So here we go today. Click. There we go. So it's listing season. So I want to make sure you get data that makes you stand out and informs and helps you assist with all of the seller objections out there. That's a cute little AI photo. So
Very
today I
nice.
want to put the focus on a couple of platforms that you already have at your fingertips. We've talked about in these tech tips, but I think they're kind of overlooked from time to time because we don't use them every day. So that's what we're going to talk about is the MLS stats tab. I'm going to show you how to play around in there. Then we're going to get the info sparks. And then the last one I want to show you is the showing time target market analysis report. So here we go. I'm going to start with the MLS. I'm going to shrink out of this, I think. Well, let me just stick with these slides and then I'll do a go and show. So the MLS site, I think some of the must-haves that you're going to have in here show the list price to sold price. And I think it's important to show that in the neighborhood or the area. And then I also think it's very important that you know your own percentage. That's a brag piece. I mean, there's a lot of realtors out there that have a 95% success rate or list price to sold price when yours might be 100, 101. That's a big separator. So I want to show you the list to sold price. I have that twice, don't know why, and then some other options. So I'm going to show you that. And then the other stuff I'm going to show you is info sparks. There's a multiple ways to use and search in that area. So I'm going to touch on those. I love that you can show the month supply, the days on market, the price per square foot, and you can even look at the number of showings and to pendings and to for under contract. Another typo in here, but I want to show you how to use those as well. And then lastly is the showing time target market analysis that's out there. The showing time collects that data and shows you where the showings are happening at certain price points so that you can go ahead and share that with your seller. All right. It's showtime. So here we go. I'm going to try and get out of this. I'm having some technical issues here today. Why not? Oh, I know why. I'm on a different screen. Here we go. So right away, shrink this down. Everybody sees my screen. So I'm
Yes.
going to work out of the stats here on this tab. So once you're logged in to MLS, we always start in the search. I want to have you move over here to the stats. And again, we've covered this in months ago, but it's always a good refresher. So in here, they have a lot of presets for you to use. And if you want to, you can create maps to really hone in. You can also do just cities. You can do neighborhoods, whatever it is that you really want to do here, you can certainly do that. One of the things that I think is smart is let's take a look at the close price to list price ratio. And I'm just going to take my city of New Brighton.
And there is a drop down there, and he's using 2 years, just FYI.
Yes. Yep. I am just going to go back 2 years. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Thank you, Lisa. Here we go. So now I want to select just single family. and I can come in here and put any other requirements that I want, just like the MLS. But I just want to see what things are doing here in New Brighton. So I'm going to hit generate, and right away, you'll see it goes back 2 years, and you can see what that price ratio is. You have it in a line graph, but you can go to data, and now it breaks it down month by month. So you can see and use this we're coming into listing season, so April and May, and help you figure that in and say, and last year we were up 2% if we price right. Different topics like that. If you want to come in here and change and really show the picture, you go to customize, and in this time frame you can actually go back 5 years, 10 years, just for show. Let's do 10 years, regenerate the information, and now it looks like, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I was going to say, sure, this is the 16 through 21. Down here is 22 through 26. So you can actually use this to show and tell your story as well. So let me go back to the presets. And
Nate, this is a really good tool. I'm just going to jump in really quick.
Yeah.
For when you have that person that wants to overprice something because they think they're going to get a lower offer. This is a really good talking point to be able to show somebody to say, you know, I completely understand that. And back when you bought a house, that might have been how it is. But let me show you what's been happening in the years since you bought this house, and go back, 5, 10 years, and be able to show them how high these numbers are.
No, that's perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. That's exactly how you use this. Let me just keep going in here, and let's see months inventory. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit generate. And now I'm stuck on the data, which shows me, but let me go back to my chart, and you can see we're still going back to 5 years. You can see where we've gone, and we can say, look, the time on market is really starting to change and go up, and you can prepare your sellers for that. Let me go back here and show you in this graph as well, and say, hey, we really saw the turn back in April. We saw it, more and more inventory coming on the market, days on market really grew, so on and so forth. So you can kind of use that to tell your story as well. And then there's other things in here. My point to this is you use it how you want and how you think it's going to be. I'm going to go back and show you where you should go to find your own close price to listing ratio. You select that and you clear all of this out. And what you're going to want to do is go down here to the bottom to additional fields. We have this on the MLS, and you are going to pull up your list agent MLS ID and plug that in here. Okay. Now for me, it's not going to show anything, but if I'm an active agent, I want to come in here and find the lifetime. So let me just hit generate. Yeah, look at that, 0. But I can come over here to data, and I do this for my experience for my agents. Is I did a 5-year study and showed them what theirs is, and you can do that too. Look at that. I must have helped somebody and got 100%. Yay, Nate. Anyway, this will show you in data form what your close price to list price ratio is. So it's important for you to know that, because that's a real separator. All right, now I'm going to jump into InfoSparks. How'd we do? We made the switch. Okay. Everybody has used this. Everybody understands what it is. I'm just going to refresh it here. Of course, it's going to make me do this. Sorry, everybody. So weird. It worked one time. So if you don't know where it is, you start in Tools and you scroll down to InfoSparks. And again, you have many, many ways to search. You can search neighborhoods, counties, communities, school districts, just by postcode, your zip code, all these different things. If you are working in Minneapolis or St. Paul, you can actually zero in on the neighborhood if you want. Really good thing to do in here. So play around with this, and then I'm going to show you some of the high points here. Let's just take the 7-county Minneapolis St. Paul market. Again, you're going to make this the way you want it to be, price point, so on and so forth. So just for fun in this class, we're just going to look at all price ranges. We're going to look at single family homes, previously owned, all seller types will be all sizes, bedrooms. Don't forget this little tab over here brings you to some of the lakefront stuff if you've got that. But my automatic default is the median sales price. So you can see that over the last 3 years, it has risen from $289 to $420. And I can also get it to the average. If I want to just use averages, I can do that as well.
And the reason a lot of people use median because that gets rid of any of the unicorns.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was just going to say that is, I mean, just look at the difference. I mean, we've had some unicorns come into play here because when you do median, it's 420. And when you do average, it raises that. So that's why I always wanted averages in grade school for my grades.
That's right.
Days on market, same thing. Median days on market. You can see that it's starting to climb, and now we're at 16 days on market. Great storyteller for you as well. Month supply, you can use that. Price per square foot. We all have those sellers that look at things, and that's the only thing that matters for them. Well, you can be the keeper of that information. So again, up here, the average is 206 price per square foot on the median. You can even take a look at the percentage to list price. I like to use these as well because the seller wants to know how many people, so on and so forth. You can set expectation in here. So showings per listing, showings to pending. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. This typically takes a little bit longer. You can say, look, at 13, now you can expect 12 to 15 showings. Again, you're setting the expectation. I've used this for years. I remember having sellers going, okay, this is number 8. This is number 8 showing. We should be getting our offer soon. So they kind of get into it too, but you're setting the expectation. And again, if you get into 20 or 30, that gives you the opportunity to say, hey, we missed and we need to adjust. That just shows you some of those tools. Now I really want to show you how to do some cool things. So let's say you're doing a neighborhood I'll just do my neighborhood. You can come up here to my areas, and I believe I already have it searched, but I'll set it up in 3229 Stinson Court. By the way, I've been using this for 2 years, my own home, and I didn't get any holiday cards from any of you. Disappointing. Wow. Off room. Thank you, Lisa.
I will make sure you get on the list.
All right. But it pulls up my address. Oh, let me scroll in here. Going too fast, Nate. So let's say I want to zero in and get down and get close to this. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. Use the controls. So I'm trying to zero in, but I want to get into my neighborhood. So I'm going to grab around here, and I want to see what, actually I'm on the line, so I'm going to see what things are selling around me. And now I've got that. So now I can come in here and save it. And it says, okay, you're going to search a third of a mile. I probably want to go bigger, but I've got 486 to go. I want to hit see stats. So now I am looking at a third of an area where my walking path or something like that. So my average is 470. Okay, now let's start going through here and pulling this up. So I want to go previously owned because in my neighborhood, there's no new construction. all sizes. Again, I can dial in how tight I want it to go, all bedrooms, so on and so forth. So 470 on the median sales price. But let's say, how do I compare to a different part of town? My friend lives over the freeway, or they live 3-4 miles away and they sold their house super fast. I can actually add another area in here. And let's say I want to go to this whole city of New Brighton. Now I want to set my parameters again, all price ranges, single family, previously owned. I want to keep this as generic as possible. And you can say, well, my neighborhood outperforms the rest of New Brighton on a median sales price. Price per square foot. I think, look at that though. The city of New Brighton outperforms on price per square foot than my neighborhood. Days on market. Okay, they're almost flat. They're almost the same here. So you have some information and you can really drill in and really tell the story again. That's the whole point here, is you're the educator. You're the director of the movie that you're about to put out there. So that is InfoSparks. Any questions on that? Okay. Then the last thing I'm going to go to and show you is I'm going to close out of this and go back to my MLS, and you're going to go to tools again and come down here to showing time. We've used this to set up every showing that we do, but have you ever paid attention to the reports? So you go right here to reports, and you have InfoSparks right here. You have activity on comparables. I'm going to have you scroll down to the target market analysis report right here. Towards the bottom, you click in here, and right away, it's going to prompt you to set up the data that you need. So I want to search, the automatic default is 30 days. So I did that. And now I want to say, let's stick with New Brighton. I can do that. And property styles, I just want to do single family. Right now, my increments are searching between 100 grand and $1 million. Maybe, what was that stat? 470. So let's look between 400 and let's look between 6, just for fun. Okay, and I want to look in increments of 10 grand. Ladies and gentlemen, it's such a crazy market out there that 10 grand price reduction changes everything. We just had one in here where we reduced it 10 grand after being on the market 45 days. We got multiple offers by reducing it 10 grand. So you pick your increments that you want, but it is a crazy market. You can dial it into as 5 grand if you want. And let's see. So I've got this. I hit submit. Whoa, here's all the showings. I made it too tight. Here's where all the showings are taking place, priced at $410,000 in the last 30 days. Let me change 90 days, see if that changes anything. Okay, so I don't have a lot of inventory in New Brighton, clearly, in this price range, but here's where all the showings are taking place, in that 410 to 420 range. You were telling the story to the seller and say, look, if we price it right, you're going to have this number of showings, or, this is where all the activity is taking place. You're looking at a 5.3 weekly average. Again, you're telling the story. Let me show you a little bit different. New Brighton, let's go 300 to 600, and let's search in $25,000 increments. Look at that. Not a whole lot of inventory, but you kind of get the gist. You can come in here and really hone it down to where you want to be and where all the showing activity is taking place. All right, any questions on the showing time reports?
This is great.
So, all right, well, I'm nearing the end of my 20 minutes, but the whole point of this is you are the ones that really have to set the expectation for the sellers. There's a lot of them out there that overprice, and they get frustrated with you. Well, if you can kill them with data and start to tell that story and show them that, hey, price, condition, all that stuff is important, pricing being number one of them, and then you can kind of use this information as you need. So quick hitter for you today. Use it, get some more listings, and if there's anything I can ever help you with, please
Nate,
let me know. Go ahead.
Nate, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Seeing as how the market seems to have changed in the last like 3 to 4 weeks, and I imagine it'll change again. How often, how quickly do these charts reflect changes in market?
Showing time, really quickly, because it's all, that's tied into all the data that we have for showings. I think that the MLS stats are 2 weeks behind, and then the info sparks, I don't have an answer for that. I would think that it's probably 2 to 3 weeks behind as well.
Okay, just wondering. Thank you.
Great question. Okay, any other questions?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a happy holiday.